Hello and welcome to the Elsie Black Oral History Project. My name is Eileen Hyland. This project is all about sharing and preserving the real life stories of people living in social housing in Ireland, with a focus on fluid housing. We want to highlight the everyday experiences, the memories and the voices of residents, the stories that often go unnoticed. It's about recognising the value of these communities and making sure their stories are heard and remembered. Today is the 13th of May, 2025, and we're talking with Peggy Roach, who lives at Ard Carrig, Carrigtwohill, County Cork. We're here in Ard Carrig, in Carrigtwohill, and we're speaking with Peggy Roach. Thanks, Peggy, for coming in today.
You're welcome.
Do you want to introduce yourself and tell me where and when you were born?
My name is Peggy Roach. I'm known as Peggers or anything that comes with it. I was born in Ballylanders in County Limerick and in 1948.
So Ballylanders, where would that have been near?
It's about 10 miles beyond Mitchelstown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And was it quite rural then? Little small place, country place?
Yeah,
Or
a country
village?
place. A country place. We were about a mile and a half from the village.
Okay, grand. So tell me a bit about your family then and your parents. How many of you were at home and things like that?
Well, my mum and dad, my mum had 16 kids, unfortunately. She buried 10.
Oh my God.
So there was only 6 of us alive, and I buried my sister 9 years ago. So I've only my 4 brothers now.
My goodness, that was an awful lot of children
It
to
was,
lose.
it
wasn't
was,
it,
it
for your
was.
poor man?
She got her hurt when she was very young. And now some of them were born at home, and lived maybe for 12 months but died. And we never, all I remember about it is white little coffins.
Oh, gosh.
We never spoke to her about it because it was too,
Yeah.
do you know,
Yeah. And people in those days...
it was an awful time for her.
It was. It must have been an awful time.
Yeah, it was. It was tragic. All I remember is we had the big open fire, and I remember her sitting in there, and she'd be crying like mad. And my dad and my friend of ours who had a car, because we'd no car, would go to the shed and get a shovel or pike and go off.
Oh, it's terrible.
It was.
Memories.
Just when I think of it now, I get
Yeah.
lonely thinking about
Yeah,
it.
of course.
Do you know?
Because I think when you're a child, you don't really know what's
You
going on.
don't.
When you have family of your own,
Exactly.
you remember those
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
You see them in a different way.
Yeah.
God.
But even I'm going tomorrow down out to Ballylanders. I go to the graves very often.
Right.
Yeah.
Gosh, she was a great woman. So describe the house for me that she lived in.
It was a council house, 4 bedrooms actually. We had the stairs going up half the kitchen, and in latter years then they built on a kind of a utility room, a bit bigger, and a bathroom.
Okay.
But we were as happy as could be there.
That was quite big to have 4 bedrooms.
It was, yeah. My sister and myself, my mum and my dad would be in the first room. We'd be in the second room, and the boys then would be upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And so did you have running water and...
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. We used to have to draw water before we go to school.
Right. And
In
did you
the
have to
morning,
go far for
and
that?
again in the evening. Yeah, about 1/4 mile up the road and going over 2 fields, in over ditches and falling and whatnot. But then
It was a chore, I suppose, had to be done.
it was a chore, but it was known as Cookswell, and that's my own name.
Oh.
But it was my dad made it. So it was known as our well, so that's where we used to draw the water from.
Wow.
And we'd only tilly lamps in as well.
Okay, so no electricity.
No electricity, no radio, no nothing until latter years.
Yeah. They were great women, really, when you think
They
of
were brilliant, fantastic.
all they had to do.
Yeah.
Raise a family and...
Oh my God, it was brilliant. They were great.
Okay. So how would you describe the living conditions there where you grew up?
Well, we were quite happy with them, sure, I suppose. Do you know, when you're young, you really don't take any notice or care. Once you have a bed to lie down on, But no, we were all very happy there, and we'd a great time there. And when we got a bit bigger, then all the neighbours just come to our house and play cards. And of course, in the middle of it, the minute the dinner was over, the dinner had to be ready the minute my father came in from work. He was in the council. And all the chairs were put around the fire. My dad there, the goslings here, as I calls us, and my mum here. And you daren't look at one another down on the concrete floor and say the rosary before anybody came. and a couple of the neighbours might come and they'd kneel in the stairs or wherever and say the rosary with us.
Was that before your dad came home, you said, or after your dad?
Oh, after my dad.
So
Oh,
Dad
my
would be
dad
there.
had. Oh, no, he was looked after.
Was he a religious man?
He was, and my mum was very, very religious. I have a brother actually very like her.
They had great faith, hadn't
Oh
they?
my God, she could be up until 4:00 in the morning by the fire praying.
Gosh.
My brother actually has her prayer book.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Mm.
So the house was a 2-story, and you had
Yeah.
bedrooms upstairs for the boys and
Yeah.
downstairs. And did you have a garden?
Oh, we had a side garden. We had about an acre, little over an acre. And then we had a side garden and then the lawn in the front.
And would your dad or your mum
Oh,
have
my-
been doing vegetables and
Oh,
things?
vegetables. We had all our own vegetables, spuds and carrots and cabbage and you name it, we had it. They were great times, great times.
Sounds wonderful with all your mum had gone on, and
Oh,
she
she was a great
provided
woman.
a great home for you.
Oh, my God. I remember one day I went home. This is now when I was out working. And I remember going home. And one of the boys, of course, he says to me, Mum is in hospital, Peggy. I cried and I cried and I cried. And my father came in out of the small haggart, as we used to call it. And of course he wanted to know what was wrong, and I told him, Nelly, she was only gone to the doctor.
So were you imagining the worst?
Of course, because she had been sick so often, you know. She was hemorrhaging a lot, like so.
Gosh. So, was there a strong sense of community where you lived then as
There
a child?
was fantastic. We'd, as I said to you the other day, we'd go to the neighbours and we'd help out with milking the cows and bringing in the hay and piking the hay. And we worked hard for young ones, you know, but we never minded. And we never got anything for it. But we had one lot of neighbours who was living in our house. They were great. And they'd kill pigs. And we'd be back there stirring the pot of blood. And they'd make the puddings. So they'd send us down puddings and a bit of meat and a bit of pork. Oh, it was beautiful. Beautiful. Even though we had pigs ourselves. But that was their payment, like. You know, but they lived in our house. They just come down to my parents' house and they get dressed for dances and go off to the dance.
Sounds like great times, Peggy.
Oh, they were brilliant.
We could do a whole story, I think, about your growing-up days.
We
Sounds
could. That's
very
my
rich.
mum's wedding ring,
Oh,
and there was 3 people married in that ring.
go away.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's a real sense of community, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like, when you
Oh
think
my
about
God,
it.
they were brilliant. Now, you could be here for the day talking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, and it's something that's so missing these days,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is.
So
It is.
sad.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you move out of home then?
Oh, I suppose when I finished school, about 14, and then I went doing a bit of work, you know, to bring in a few bob. I went to a hairdresser's and I done a bit there, and then I done a bit in a shop where my mum used to deal, and can't remember exactly. About 17, I suppose, 16, 17, I went working to a hotel.
Were you
Receptionist
living in
there.
then at the hotel?
Living in, yeah, like
So that
that
was
now.
your first time leaving home then?
Twas. So my mum was into the sink and she cried like that. Terrible. But anyway, sure, look, we got over it and we like that now. We had great old times in the hotel.
And
we
where was
worked
the
hard.
hotel? Where was that?
The Island for my.
Oh, in Fermoy.
Yeah. We and we got staff for there and everything. And I remember the people that we worked for were O'Brien's from Limerick. So of course they being from Limerick and we being from Limerick, so we got on like a house on fire. But we worked very hard there. Eileen, we'd often work until 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning with what you call it, dues that were going on there.
Functions and things.
Functions, yeah. And weddings, unreal.
Well, was it a great freedom for you being out of home then and being like footloose and fancy free in Fermoy?
It was, but as I said, we worked hard and we'd work in the bar. My sister, Lord Mercer, she worked in the bar as well. I was doing reception, but sure, we were jack of all trades. You were here, there and everywhere, like.
You were expected to do a lot.
And
I'd
looked
say.
forward to going home then when we were off. Do you know, really looked forward to it. Like.
And I'm sure your mum was delighted.
Oh,
was she?
thrilled. The only time she wouldn't be thrilled was a few of us maybe two of us, would tow 'em all the way from Fermoy down. We'd stop at home and have a cup of tea, and my mother loved a bit of news, you know. And she'd say to us, "Where are you going now?" We were going to Kilfinnan dancing. "And have you been home, Peggy?" "We have, ma'am. We have. There's one girl, she's doing live with such a fella. That wouldn't be able to get on."
Your poor man.
My poor mother, she only knew, God love her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as here then, when did you move in here, Peggy?
I'm here since 2019, 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
So this place was already in existence
It
a
was.
while before you came.
It was, yeah.
Okay. And can you tell me how you came to live here?
When I came to live here, I was waiting, I'd say, for about 10 years for...
Where are you?
Yeah. I had to get onto a TD to know to do something for me. A great man, I have to say. Great man, and I'll be forever thankful. Because I was waiting 10 years for it. And Padraig O'Sullivan is his name. He's in the island. Great man. And I think I got a letter or something to say that I was after getting a place here. And I remember coming over, Davina was here at the time, and I came over, of course being interviewed and, you know, the usual, and she said to me, "Peggy, come, we'll just say Tuesday." I don't know what date it was. Tuesday, she said, because there was one of the men, they were having a bit of a party for him, and she said, "You'll meet the gang." And I said, "Grand, I'll do that." I was shaking in my shoes, but I came anyway. And I'll never forget, I was sitting back there somewhere. And who comes in but John? And of course we started talking, and that's how we started our friendship. But I nearly cried. I said, "Jesus, what am I doing here with a load of retards?" That's what I said. No, Eileen. That's what I said. Let me out of here fast. But just in 1 week.
You got to know them.
I got to know them, and I was in... number 20, which was a one bed, and it was small enough. So I suppose after all the gardening and everything, they decided they gave me something. So Davina called me one day and she said, "I have good news for you." She said, and I said, "Yeah, what?" She said, "I have a 2-bedroom apartment for you." I was thrilled. Now she wanted me to take one downstairs. I said, "No, I couldn't sleep downstairs." I said, "I'm not refusing, but I just couldn't." So she said she'd run upstairs. I said, "Great." So I'm still there.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So when you came first, where did you come from at that stage? So you were 10 years on the list.
I came from here, because I was married here.
In
Carrigtwohill.
Oh, in Carrigtwohill, okay.
Yeah.
And so for 10 years, were you living in different houses?
I lived in Middleton for a while. In an apartment, not belonged to Clúden or anything. And then I moved to Carrigtwohill, and I lived in a house there, very expensive. And then I moved in with my daughter, and it was out there I got the house.
So it was quite a palaver to get. Yeah, it's soul destroying, isn't it? Sometimes
it is. Like, you know, I'll tell you now. Amanda's related to me through marriage. I was going into Mass one Sunday. I won't mention his name, but I was going to Mass one Sunday. And he was sitting in the car, and I said, "God," I said, "you must have been up early, you know, the car boat was on." And he said, "I was, Peggy." He said, "I was opening up." And we started talking anyway, and he said, "Do you know something?" He said, there was no houses, I think, going up by the church at the time. He said, "I prefer an outsider to get him," he said, "than somebody from Mallow or Middleton or wherever." I said, "What?" He said, "And the likes you," he said, "with a broken marriage will never get a 2-bedroom house." Eileen, I went into Mess. I didn't know what to cry or what to do. I still can't get it out of my head for him, like.
And who was that, a neighbour or?
No, his brother's married to my daughter.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
People don't realise how powerful their words are sometimes.
All I said to myself was, "I hope your marriage lasts."
As if anybody plans those things.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So you came in here and your first impressions were, you told me.
Yeah.
But soon that changed, it sounds like. By the time you were here a week or so, I'd say you got to know people.
I did. And then, of course, I don't know how long afterwards Margaret came. And then we got to know one another, and then we clicked together, the three of us, John, herself, and myself. We'd great times here. Used to do the baking, Margaret would do sandwiches up. John was the run boy. We'd great times. And then we started the garden. And we were out there from 8 o'clock in the morning till maybe 9 o'clock at night. And we never stopped laughing. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
You put up with anything, wouldn't you, when you have
some
friends by your side?
You would, but we never took any notice of... I mean, we'd done a lot of work here, like. John and I were out for a walk one morning, and we met some of the lads from BAM, and they wanted to know if we could get permission from to use the water from here, because they were out there beside us at the time. So, of course, we couldn't. So John gave them Rachel's number, and they got on to Rachel, and they said to us that morning, if there's anything you want done, let us know, and we'll help you. And, of course, I jumped in the bandwagon straight away. And I said, yeah, we need hire our beds, our flower beds. And in fairness, within a couple of weeks, they were in with all the timber. It was all treated, and they put it up for us. They bought tons of earth, tons of it. And they were brilliant to us now. They're still brilliant to us.
But one good turn deserves another, it sounds like.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's great.
This morning, I took a load of cakes over to them,
wow.
And Margaret took sausage rolls.
You're keeping them sweet.
Well, do you know...
It goes a long way, a little bit of kindness, doesn't it?
They're giving us...
So your first impressions, once you got into the place, it must have been like it's a beautiful place to live, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And what does home mean to you?
An awful lot. Home is my treasure. My treasure now, I have to say. I love my home. I love the freedom. I love the security above all.
Yeah.
Here. It's absolutely fantastic.
That means a lot, doesn't it, as you get older too?
It does, Eileen. It does, yeah. Because going back the years, we had a break in our house one time. And nerve-wracking. It was nerve-wracking. Yeah.
It's very unsettling.
It is. Yeah. So it's fantastic here.
So you wouldn't have those fears at all? You come in and you're safe?
No, I can go to bed at night and I wake up in the morning. That's all I worry about.
Great. What was the biggest change for you coming here to live in this place?
I suppose not knowing anybody, coming into a strange place, and you don't know what people are like. You know, when you're living in the same place all the time and you've got to get friends and all that type of thing, and then walking into strangers. You know, you don't know what way to take them or what way they'll take you.
Yeah, so there's a bit of settling in, I suppose, for everybody to get to know each other. Yeah. Grand, okay.
But Davina, I have to say, hold my hand up to her, she was absolutely fantastic.
That's great. That means a lot when there's staff
fantastic
to help, isn't it?
No, she was brilliant with the garden and everything. She'd tell you a few home truths too if need be, like. But I have to hold my hand up to her. She was brilliant.
That's great. So what do you love most about your home now or your neighbourhood here?
I love my friends. As I said, I have 2 very close friends, and that's all I want.
So how do you think people outside the community view social housing? Do you think there's a stigma?
I think there is at the minute because of people coming in, strangers coming in, regardless of colour, and they're getting houses before our own. And to be truthful, I think it's a disgrace. I think it's terrible.
Yeah.
And then you have people, I know one particular family, they're young, very young, and this girl had a house, then she was transferred to another council house, and now she's gone into a 4-bedroom house. And she has a 3-bedroom. She has 3 kids. So to me, that's all wrong.
Yeah.
You know.
And do you think?
And I mean, I wouldn't be antisocial or anything, like that. But it hurts an awful lot to see other people getting homes when our own can't get them.
Yeah. And do you think there's kind of a plan where there's shared living, age-friendly housing? Do you think it's a good idea?
Yes, I think it is, yeah. Well, once it's kind of over the hill kind of crowd, not youngsters, because I don't think we could go back to young couples now again. I don't think I could anyway.
So it's nice to be in a place where...
How are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
It's nice to be in a place where...
Your own age group kind of thing,
That means a lot.
It does, yeah.
And do you think there's need for more places like this?
Oh, there is. There is, yeah. Badly.
So other people who may be in 3-bedroom council houses, that their children have grown up and moved on,
yeah,
to have them relocate to someplace like this?
I think so, yeah. Because, like, I do suffer from my heart now. I had a bypass done. I had a burst bowel. And I can go into bed at night and say, I'm okay. But if I'm not, I can pull the string. And within seconds, you've a call, are you okay? Are you okay?
Wow.
Which is fantastic. Where, like, if you're in a council house, you wouldn't get that.
Yeah, that's really reassuring, isn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And we have the lift, as you know, which is great. Because I wouldn't be able to walk the stairs.
Yeah. They're just little things that
small
make such
things,
a difference.
but they make an awful difference. Yeah.
Great. So have you ever felt judged or treated differently because you live in a council house? Did you ever experience that kind of stigma?
Mm-hmm.
Would you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, would you like to tell me a little bit about that?
No later than one day last week,
Wow.
I was talking to this girl in the shop, and we were blackguarding as usual. And we did live in Mayfield, going back years and years ago, which I've no problem with it. And anyway, this girl lives over the road there, but we were at the opposite side of the village. So they were known as pudding place, and we were known as steak place. Stupid. But anyway, so I happened to be in the shop during the week, and we were actually talking about that, and somebody said, oh, sure, Peggy lived in Mayfield. Oh, she said, did you? Your nose is after dropping now, isn't it?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Which I was offended because I always treated that side of the village the very same as I treat my own side.
Yeah, it's strange.
But in Carrig, you're never Carrig, even though I'm here. 48 years now, Kieran. 46 years, Kieran was 2 when we came down here. And you're only a blow-in all the time.
Yeah, you're never accepted as...
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So you definitely think there's a bit of a stigma attached to
Yes.
social housing?
Yeah,
in some people,
yeah. There is,
with some people.
there is.
Yeah.
And I think it's wrong.
Yeah.
We all have to live and we'll do the best we can. And,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think it's changed over the years, that stigma? Do you think it's better or is it worse?
It's hard to tell. I think with all this going on with, as I said to you, other people getting houses and things like that, it brings a bit of that back, like.
Yeah. Grand. Okay. So what sort of a community was there here when you moved in? Do you remember getting that sense of...
Very small place Carrigtwohill was when we moved in. It was lovely though. We'd meet, Centra was in the middle of the village now where St. Vincent's are. And we'd meet when we got to know friends and things like that. We'd meet there and have an old chat in the morning, and we might go for a cup of coffee. Or, it was lovely. It was a real small community. There was only 6 houses now, or 600 houses where I was living before. And so it was small, but it's after building, sure, massive, no sense.
So people don't know each other really anymore?
No.
Yeah.
No. You need only go to Mass there and you wouldn't know half the people.
And what about here when you came to Ard Carrig then?
Yeah.
Did you notice any sense of community here?
A change, you mean?
A sense of community, like did people help out each other, or was there a sense that you were a community, or were people very separate here?
Apart from, as I said, the 2 friends I have.
Yeah.
Very separate. No, okay for a while, like, but then this little aggro set in and yeah, it's a pity.
Yes, sure.
Because like Margaret, myself and John, we done everything possible with baking and cooking and making sandwiches and whatnot. All out of our own pockets, a lot of it. And no.
Yeah. So it's not just indifference, people are actually unpleasant about it?
Yes. Sure, we had a massive day here, the day of the opening of the garden. Oh, it was fantastic. We had a good few from Clwyd, the heads, and they really and truly enjoyed it. We cooked hot meals and everything.
Wow.
John was up and down the lift with a trolley from Melodies. I done all the desserts, and we cooked hot food. It was brilliant. The atmosphere was lovely, lovely. And then, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about a golf outing we had. We organised a golf outing, and that was fantastic. But again, no help. No help.
And did you find people came to those events? Like, did they come and participate?
No.
No.
No. Well, there's only Willie here that'd be interested in the golf like myself. The rest of them haven't a clue about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a good turnout. We made 4,500 profit out of it. Yeah, and then we had a couple of coffee mornings, and we made money out of that for different things. But the biggest one was cancer care. We done that. Again, we done all the catering for it, and 5,500 we gave to them.
Wow. So it was a fundraiser. You
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's great to be able to do things, isn't
Yeah,
it, like that?
it is,
and to
it is,
help
it is.
and-
It is.
Wow.
I won a few awards, all right. I was up in Belfast for Housing Hero.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got above.
If only we had more people like you, Peggy.
Oh,
If we could clone you.
they'd be telling me I was too bossy.
Well, that's what makes things happen, isn't it?
I know.
So are there any neighbours or people who really make a difference to your experience of living here? And I think I know what you're
Yeah,
going to
you
tell
know
me.
what I'm going to say. Yeah.
Isn't it
Yeah.
amazing how just those few can make such a difference
Yeah.
to your life, though?
Yeah. But we're like, what do they call us? The Three Musketeers.
That's not too bad.
No, well,
Could be
we've
worse.
been called worse, let me tell you. Yeah, because we're nearly always together. We go to shop every morning together. We go for our walks together. And, you know, it's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It is, yeah, it is. And I think with the other people like this, it's jealousy. Because they don't know how to get involved with us, even though we've asked them several times. You know?
It must be, because sure, anyone would be delighted to be in your company and
But they would.
have a bit of crack.
A bit of crack, sure.
you know.
Should we go off there to Killarney for a night or two? 6 of us.
Yeah.
We have great crack.
It's brilliant. Great. Long may it last.
Long may it last. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Would you have any idea what could be done to build a stronger community here? I get the sense you've tried everything.
We have tried quite a lot.
Yeah. Do you think
Quite
it
a
needs
lot.
to come from Clwyd, from
I
your
think
organisation?
Clwyd would want to dig a bit deeper,
See what's happening.
see what's happening. They have the clue,
Okay.
you know, and it's a pity.
It is really.
It's
isn't
a pity
it?
because
it's a beautiful place to live.
It
and-
is. Things could be lovely here. We, Margaret and myself, were planning a Christmas dinner here. I said that to you the other day. Christmas dinner here, there. But we said, oh, Jesus, what are we doing it for?
Yeah.
What are we doing it for? We picked out all this furniture.
Really.
And we can't say that either.
It's beautiful. The room is lovely. If you could send a message to decision makers or developers going forward for their plans, what would it be? What would you like to see happening? Obviously more houses. Would you like to see more places like this being built?
I would.
Right.
I would, because I think, we'll say my age group, we need something like this.
Yeah.
Where you're safe and don't have to worry about, am I being broken into, or, you know.
Yeah. Have you any funny story before we go that you want to share about your experience here with Clwyd?
I've a lot of them. But they're not, couldn't talk about in public.
That's a sign of a great story, Peggy. You have me curious now. So what would your hopes be for future generations living in this kind of housing?
I would like to see a lot more people getting together. Not to be separating themselves from, we'll say, the likes of us. I mean, they could have a great time, but they're not just. And I'd like to see that happening, because people are sticking into their apartments, and you can know by their faces like that they're lonely, and there's nothing you can do, because they won't help themselves.
And you've been here for 6 years and you
Yeah.
haven't managed to change that.
No.
Yeah, it's very strange, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, Peggy, is there anything else you want to add to your story?
Can't think of it. No, I think all is good.
Great. Well, it's wonderful that you're enjoying living here so much.
We are,
and,
but as I said, there's more we could do here.
yeah,
You know.
if you had a bit more cooperation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Peggy.
Eileen, it was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank
and
you
a pleasure
so much.
meeting you.
And you too.